911, where's your emergency?
My brother just smacked a full beer bottle across the back of my head and I'm bleeding.
Where are you?
311 Coppermine Crescent. My landlord's here too.
Okay.
My kids are in the house and he's got a gun.
He has a gun?
He has a gun in that house.
The night of the call, I was on 911 dealing with an individual that had called in about this.
How many kids are in there?
My two babies.
I just hung up the phone and my regular phone line was ringing. When I answered, it was the male that was inside the house.
I'm surrounded and I'm firing shots out my window. So I got 50 shots.
I knew I just had to try and keep him calm.
I want to die.
Why?
I just do. Things aren't working out for me.
When we received the call, it came in as an injured person, woman hit over the head. Once they are at scene, we take control over the channel. Our job as a dispatcher is to ensure the safety of the officers at scene.
On a basic level, the communication sergeant is the eyes and ears of the watch commander. In addition, I'm going to provide assistance to make sure that we are covering off initially that inner perimeter, because that would be the responsible of the patrol responding units. And we want to make that area as small as possible, and it's going to contain really where the incident is.
We relay every update that comes into our call for the safety of our officers and the safety of the victims that may still be around.
I was about 4 blocks from Coppermine Crescent when that call initially came in. It came in as an active shooter, and the shots had already been fired.
1040, 311 Coppermine Crescent. Complainant.
As soon as we got onto Coppermine, we noticed that there was a female, and she's hiding behind a yellow pickup truck that's parked.
He is shooting out of the f***ing house. He is trying to shoot at me with a gun.
As I make my way up, I can see her behind the vehicle hiding. I take cover behind a vehicle, and I'm trying to get voice contact with her at this point. More officers are starting to come on scene and kind of create an outer perimeter. We're keeping as much as we can contained on the inner perimeter.
I was assigned as a uniformed patrol sergeant, secondary duty as a tactical team leader. Began to take control of the incident on the radio as the sergeant in charge of the scene.
First responding units to get there with the first attack guy. Organize a hostage rescue team. Flap, if that's you, be prepared to make entry on this guy and get those kids out, please. Over.
Learned that 2 of her young kids were inside and potentially 2 more adults.
Okay, we've got 2 kids, 2 adults out behind that same truck. The suspect is still inside the house.
Every time one of our officers would break cover in an attempt to either look at the front of the house or to go and essentially rescue the 5 people, they would get shot at, and you could hear the bullets crack over their heads. Basically had members trying to get people in the immediate area to shelter in place or go into their basements. Myself and Sergeant Laidlaw, another tactical team leader that was working, organized basically a hasty rescue. We put some officers into the Bearcat to be able to latch onto the people and pull them into safety. Laidlaw went into the hatch.
I was to provide cover as the cover officer. While we were making the approach in the rescue vehicle, the suspect did in fact fire several times at the vehicle, striking it. We immediately approached the front of the residence.
Shots fired again.
And one thing that's sort of ingrained in my mind as we approached, I could see the absolute fear on the female's face just looking over at us to do something. Sergeant Kane pulled up right directly in front and behind the vehicle that they were taking cover. And as I provided cover to the front of the residence, the rest of the SPS members performed the civilian rescue.
My role at Coppermine Crescent was a crisis negotiator. My job was to get prepared for any type of deployment or reaction based on what the subject was doing. I'm getting on my cell phone as quick as I can to try to make contact, to see if he'll stop shooting, to see if he'll even answer. After lots of failed attempts, I did get put in touch with the guy, and we started talking. He was extremely irate, upset to the point, like if you can imagine somebody in your house just yelling and screaming at you like there's no tomorrow. He was just, the adrenaline was on for him. So to get him to sort of come off that extreme measure or time of crisis for him to calm down, or to come down a little bit enough where he can start thinking on a little bit more of a normal level to communicate with me was the goal at that time. You know, his demands were pretty basic. Other than stay away, you know, he's crying on and off, very unstable, and so there's a lot of things that were, in my mind, troublesome that weren't sounding very good. As we got talking, it was amazing. It was more than just a, say, example of someone's bipolar. It was going from someone who's irate, who you think is going to grab you through the phone and choke you, to where you have somebody who's talking to you like you were best buddies a day ago. As it turns out, he is not only willing to come out, but he's trying to do favors for me. I will unload the gun for you, I'll put it down, I'll do all these things for you, and away I go. There's certain things as he's coming out or trying to get out where he changes his mind and he goes right back to where he was when he first started this whole incident.
EDU wears two very distinct hats. One of them is simply to deal with explosive devices, found explosives or actual improvised explosives. The other hat that we wear is to a support element for TSU.